Hey there, welcome into Game Day Preview. I'm Julian Mininsohn alongside Cory Curtis, talking college football, specifically the SEC. And Cory, we've made it to the big game that everybody in the state, you and I, have been waiting for this entire time. Tennessee Vanderbilt, 2:30 on Saturday in Knoxville. And this one, a lot on the line. Vanderbilt still trying to boost their college football resume and prove why they should be in Tennessee, trying to play for a much more quality bowl game and maybe spoil the party for Vandy a little bit. A lot of weight to this one, more so than in years past.
Diego Pavia also trying to win the Heisman Trophy as well. And, you know, we have been talking about this game for 3 months, saying we hoped that when it got here that it was, well, number one, for a playoff spot for both teams. But a playoff spot for at least one of them. So it's great that we're getting this because, I mean, this is the biggest Vanderbilt football game in 100 years. There's no way around it. It's the biggest Vanderbilt football game in 100 years. They're about a 2.5 point underdog in this one.
I think it's at 3 now.
Yeah, both teams were convincing winners a week ago. Diego Pavia is on a major heater.
484 yards this past week.
And the Vols just exercised some demons by, whacking Florida down in the swamp. So both of them come in on a high, and, you always worry, like, if you're Josh Heupel, when you're eliminated from playoff consideration, which they pretty much were, what do you get from your team the rest of the way? And, they went down to Florida and whacked them in the swamp. So it appears he still has the Volunteers moving forward.
Yeah, and Diego Pavia hasn't been shy about his thoughts on Tennessee.
Sure. Or anyone
for that matter. But Tennessee, I think, takes that a little bit more personally because they are within the state and they are direct rivals of each other. And so that's going to be something interesting to see how chippy it gets, how physical it gets on Saturday.
Yeah.
Going back to the Diego Pavia performance this past weekend, a career high 484 yards, shellacked Kentucky 45-17 in a game where, at least personally for me, I thought it was going to be a little bit nervous.
Oh, yeah.
Because of all the outside factors.
Kentucky had won 3 in a row, and Vanderbilt's defense had not been very good.
It was senior day. You may be looking ahead to Tennessee, but they did what they were supposed to do.
No, they did more than that. They did way more than that.
And when you're looking for, when you talk about the Heisman and how Diego can lock up maybe one of those finalist spots, you think about moments this year, like Francisco Mendoza when they beat Penn State, right? It wasn't his best game in totality, but he had the moment by bringing him back at the end of the game, 2 minutes to go, and they got the game-winning drive, and it upped his Heisman odds to being the Heisman favorite. You think about like Marcel Reed, right? Bringing his team back.
South Carolina.
Yeah, against South Carolina when they had a poor first half.
Is that what we're calling that, poor?
Ugly, horrible. and so Diego, he had almost 500 yards, but I think winning in Knoxville and putting his team in the best position to potentially get to the CFP, that would be the moment that at least makes me feel good that he will indeed be one of the 4 in New York for the Heisman Trophy ceremony.
Well, he led the comeback against Auburn as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he's over 1,400 yards the last 3 weeks.
He's crazy, man.
I mean, all the people who were saying the stats aren't there. Well, the stats are there because he's got more numbers than anybody. And I could go on and on about what he has done for his football team. The stats are absolutely there. But yeah, I mean, this is the biggest stage that he's going to get. Playing in front of 100,000 people with his playoff hopes on the line. He's going to talk all sorts of garbage all week long, and everybody's going to be looking to see where his mom is in the stands. And he's going to have to make plays because we all think this is going to be a higher scoring game, and he's going to have to put points on the board. And if he can put 35 points on the board and beat Tennessee, especially if he does that on like the last drive of the game, and your last shot of him is celebrating in the end zone with that Heisman pose, I mean, it can help push him forward. Jeremiah Love got pushed forward. We've seen Tyler Simpson basically drop out. And I know everybody wants to vote for Mendoza. It doesn't hold a candle to Pavia, in my opinion, but that's me.
Yeah. Pavia's had to do more to get his team to where they're at.
Every play goes through his hands.
Yeah.
And I'm not just taking the snap. I'm saying he either throws it or they run it, but every run play goes through him. None of these other guys can say that.
Yeah. And Pavia is kind of the sour to Clark Lee's sweet. That's the perfect mixture. And we have Clark Lee talking about the big matchup against the Tennessee Volunteers this weekend.
Obviously, anytime you're talking about a rival, there's emotions in it. Feeling like you have everything at stake kind of adds to those emotions in the best of ways. And, these are the opportunities that you do it for. This is what you dream of, the chance to play a meaningful game late in November against a really good team that's also a rival in state. And we have a ton of respect for Tennessee. I got a ton of respect for Josh Heupel and the program he's built there. We have a ton of respect for that environment. We're going to train really hard this week to be prepared, for what is one of the best atmospheres in the country. And again, as a competitor, those are all things that you look forward to. It's our job to keep the, 100,000+ fans out of the game, by being disciplined and doing the things we need to do to perform. But we understand that if we're not playing with a sense of urgency and if we're not emotionally ready, then we invite them into the contest. So, again, nothing but respect for these guys, and yet we're going to prepare as hard as we can to get the result we want and the result we've worked for 321 days.
One thing that Diego Pavia does, we've talked about how he brings the team up here and Clark Lee brings them down to earth. Well, Pavia makes these guys believe we're going to go into Knoxville. We're not going to be scared. We're going to win this game. Like, we are more talented than they are. If we do, as you've said many times, play Vanderbilt football, we should come out on the right side of the scoreboard this weekend.
Well, look, Tennessee is going to have more 4- and 5-star players on the roster than Vanderbilt is. It's a different era, though. You've got NIL now. So it's not all about 4 and 5 stars. It's about bringing in grown men. And Vanderbilt's brought in a lot of grown men this year, especially in the trenches, to compete with a lot of those 4 and 5-star athletes that Tennessee has. And the other thing that Vanderbilt has that they have not had in the past is they've got the speed on the outside to compete with Tennessee. I mean, when you see what Junior Sherrill and Trey Richardson have done the last 3 weeks, I mean, those guys have absolutely blown up. And the other thing is when those guys blow up like that, it opens things up for Eli Stowers, who's a finalist now for the Mackey Award. I mean, he's leading he's leading all tight ends in the country with 700 yards, and he seems like a complementary piece. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, totally.
I mean, and so you thought going into the year Stowers was going to be the guy. He hasn't had to be the guy because they've got a lot of guys with speed in the backfield and on the outside. And, Tennessee's not playing Florida this week. All right. This offense is way better. And I understand all the comments about the crowd. And I'm not saying crowds don't matter, but I heard that the gray uniforms and the night game in Knoxville was going to be something like Oklahoma had never seen before and that they don't stand a chance. And I believe Oklahoma came in there and walked out with a W.
The quarterback with a hand that's been bothering him, too.
So these guys, and this is my way of saying, all of these guys play in big games in big environments. Now, if it starts snowballing on you, okay, it can get tough. I truly acknowledge that. But Vanderbilt will be ready to play. They won't be intimidated, and Tennessee better be ready to run.
Yeah, and that's takes me to my next thing. I was going to ask you about one key for Vanderbilt if they are to come out on top. For me, as we saw against Kentucky, you get out to a quick start, you run the ball well, you dominate up front, which is the MO for Vanderbilt all year long, and you win time of possession. Not many teams can compete with that. But as we saw in the Auburn game, that it almost bit them in the behind. We saw them. We saw it almost bite them. Yeah, Mizzou as well. And where it did hurt them was Texas and Alabama. Yep. The results weren't as good. So I'm saying quick start for Vanderbilt, win up front, run the football, and then I know Diego Pavia, you kind of throw everything out the window when it comes to him, but he's obviously going to need to have a good game. But that stuff will lead to him to have a much better game than him trying to play Superman the entire time and trying to will his team to victory.
Here's an X factor for me. And, when you're looking at Vanderbilt, Joey Aguilar was a double-digit interception guy at Appalachian State. And when this season started, he was not that guy. Well, he's a double-digit interception guy now. He's thrown picks the last few weeks. Can Vanderbilt continue to get Aguilar to turn the football over? Because if they can get him to turn it over a couple of times, they're going to be in position A. But if they can't, and if Aguilar can take care of the football, then it's a shootout. And I think Tennessee wants this to be a shootout.
Absolutely. Yeah, I go back to this. If there's 2 minutes to go and it's a one-score game, which quarterback would you rather have the ball in their hand?
The little guy.
Number 2. I think it's
And
without a doubt number 2.
I wouldn't mind having it in Aguilar's hands.
Sure.
I mean, he's a good football player.
If I'm comparing them, though,
Yeah,
I mean,
but number 2 is special.
like there is an X factor in him that he just wills teams to win. Like, you believe when the ball is in his hands that good things are going to happen.
Yeah.
His running ability is awesome. I think that doesn't get talked about enough either.
Yeah, nobody can ever contain him in the pocket. He always
slippery.
He always finds his way out. And it's just amazing. I mean, was he 5'9", 5'10"?
If that, yeah.
That he always finds lanes to throw the football. Yeah. That's what's incredible. I mean, the longer this season has gone on, the more appreciation I've had for him. Because, I've talked about the Heisman a lot, and you can argue, you can tell me some guy's a better quarterback or some guy's a better player. I may not agree with you, but we can argue. But you cannot argue he is the most important player in college football. There's no one who even sniffs the importance of Diego Pavia to his football team.
And what he's done also for the big picture of Vanderbilt as well. Celebrities coming to the games.
Yeah. Reese Witherspoon.
Reese Witherspoon.
You hanging out with Reese.
We have to keep that down. The paparazzi might be on us there. And then also the potential for a 5-star quarterback and Jared Curtis to come to, seeing what Diego Pavia did. Real quick before I know we're going to dive into Tennessee a little bit more on the other side of the break. If Vanderbilt wins, playoff?
Well, I mean, we'll look at the schedule. They did what they needed to do last week, and Tennessee did what they needed Tennessee to do last week, and that's pound Florida and be as highly rated as they could be, so that this win, if Vanderbilt can get it, would be as impressive as it can be. Now, I think if Vanderbilt wins, they will pass Utah regardless of what Utah does this weekend. But it's hard to find them finding that second team to go over if everybody holds serve.
Yeah.
Now, traditionally, not everybody holds serve. They just don't.
Rivalry weekend, yeah.
LSU last year at Florida, nobody saw that one coming. Remember when Ole Miss lost to Kentucky? Nobody saw that coming. And so, somebody could very well lose. But look, if they have a big day and somebody else has not such a big day, and the other thing I'll say is this. If they've got Auburn on the side of their helmet or Florida on the side of their helmet or LSU on the side of their helmet and they've got the exact same resume, they're in the top 12.
Yeah.
The only reason they're not in the top 12 right now is because of brand recognition.
Yeah. 10-2 in the SEC and not getting in, to me, would be a travesty.
Greg Sankey go crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and there'll be a 16-team playoff next week.
Exactly. All right. Well, that was more of the Vandy side of things. We're going to dive more into Tennessee on the other side of the break. What Josh Heupel had to say about facing Diego Pavia and the crew. That's when Game Day Preview returns. Well, we got a jam-packed weekend of college football, and not just on Saturday. It all starts Friday here on News 2 at 11 a.m. The Egg Bowl. Ole Miss and Mississippi State, and this game is huge, not just for Ole Miss's position in the playoffs, but after this, Lane Kiffin's supposed to be making a decision on where he is going to be coaching next season.
You think he stays or goes?
I think he should stay. I think he's going.
You think he's going to LSU?
Yeah.
think he's staying.
Well, okay, so here's my thing to that. Their athletic director came out and says, "Hey, we're going to have a decision here." Why would an athletic director of a school come out and say he's going to be making a decision when he's going to be leaving? You know what I mean?
Yes.
That usually says contract extension or something like that.
To me, if he was leaving, they would be like, "All right, get out."
Yeah, sure.
Get out. Leave.
Yeah.
I mean, but who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the we don't know. And the other thing is, what if he wants to go to the NFL?
Yeah.
Maybe there's some NFL teams interested in him, and he wants them to come here.
Yeah. Well, you can go 7-5 or 8-4 at Ole Miss. You can't do that at LSU, and you're out the door. So I think job security.
It shouldn't be much of a game, should it?
No, Ole Miss should win that game.
I just always remember Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
Urinating on the
goalpost.
Lasting memory.
Then afterwards, 2:30, Georgia Tech. Should be an interesting one. Georgia Tech's been kind of Jekyll and Hyde lately.
They have been, but this is one where you expect Georgia to win big.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if it's closer than you think.
And the Bulldogs got to go on the road too. And then the nightcap on Friday, Texas A&M and Texas. That is going to be a good one in Austin. Marcel Reed trying to basically shore up a first-round bye for Texas A&M.
It's amazing that Texas A&M got through this year without playing Georgia or Alabama.
Yeah.
But I mean, when the league gets bigger, that's what happens, and it doesn't matter. I mean, they're undefeated, and they beat Notre Dame in the non-conference. So I mean,
and good for a local kid, Marcel Reed.
Yeah, Marcel Reed's had a tremendous year. He's in the Heisman conversation, and he's going to play in primetime at Texas. Again, he could propel himself further going into the SEC championship game. I know a lot of people like Texas in that game, but I like Texas A&M. I like Marcel Reed. I like their coach.
On Saturday, it continues in the morning, 11 a.m., Miami at Pitt, which has huge implications for who gets to that ACC championship game.
Is it possible we go to the playoffs without an ACC team?
I don't think so. I think it's that 5 highest ranked conference champions, and one of them is going to be the ACC.
Can we change that rule?
Maybe they will. They made changes after last year.
Well, Pitt said they didn't care if they lost by 110 to Notre Dame last week. They almost got there. Okay, they almost got there.
It was a 70-7, right?
That was a Syracuse game.
That was a Syracuse game.
Yeah, but it was
Notre Dame blowouts all blend together.
Yeah, it was. They got blurted out good. And Miami is, let's see what Carson Beck's going to do this week.
After that, LSU, Oklahoma, big game for Vandy fans. If anyone is wondering, you need LSU in this one.
And you certainly need LSU to play better than they did last week when they barely beat Western Kentucky. I mean, that was ugly.
And then it all finishes up with the Iron Bowl, which is always a great game. Throw records out the window for that one.
Now, Alabama, they can't lose.
They can't lose, no, because that would be 3 losses. And then the committee, you're going to be put on the spot.
Oh, Vandy's in.
Yeah.
If they win and Bama loses.
Absolutely.
What percentage chance would you give Auburn to beating Alabama?
25.
So 1-4?
Yeah.
I would take that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Vanderbilt, okay, 1-4.
Ashton Daniels been playing a lot better. If we get the Auburn we saw here against Vanderbilt, they got a shot.
And with Alabama, it hasn't been real consistent. The most consistent thing has been them at home.
Yes.
And they finally just lost at home to Oklahoma. But this one's on the road.
And it's going to be Auburn's Super Bowl.
Yeah. So, we'll see. We'll see. I agree with you. I think there's a chance.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance.
Well, first and foremost, Vandy has to beat Tennessee. And Tennessee, they're coming off of exercising some demons against Florida, dominating
great game.
31 unanswered points to start
I would
that
have kept the pedal down second half.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, especially not winning there in 22 years.
Maybe Heupel wants that job. And that's why he took it easy on him.
Yeah. Hey, conspiracy theory, Cory. I like that. But
if he does, you heard it here first.
Josh Heupel in company, going into this game against Vanderbilt, I think they know the task at hand. They know they're not Florida, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
Joey Aguilar, I think, is going to have to play mistake-free and not give Vandy extra possessions. And that defense, I know you only gave up 11 points against Florida, but this isn't a Florida offense. This is a well-oiled machine with one of the best players, if not the best player in college football on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, look, but the thing is you don't need to stop them every time. Threes are your friend if you can hold them to field goals, but I don't know if Clark Lee's going to go for field goals. He went for on fourth down a bunch this year.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to throw caution to the wind. So you better be prepared to play 4 downs of defense. But if you're Tennessee, I mean, we talked about it earlier. Your big hope is to jump on them and make them chase. And when you've got Bishop and Starr Thomas and Staley and Brazel, I mean, they've got weapons. They got weapons everywhere.
And that's the thing. Vanderbilt has been susceptible to explosive plays, particularly explosive passing plays this year. And Tennessee's trio of wide receivers of Brazel, Staley, Matthews, that's trouble. And that's what would worry me if I'm a Vanderbilt fan, for a defense that needs to clean things up. Because I know Kentucky, they only give 17 points, but that's Kentucky. You know, I am worried about seeing what I saw against Auburn.
It was 45-3.
It was 45-3. Yeah, so there were some garbage times. So I'm more worried about seeing what I saw against Auburn.
Yes.
And seeing what I saw against Texas.
Yes.
That's the defense that I'm worried about seeing against Tennessee, because the way you beat Vanderbilt is like that, and Tennessee loves to play like that.
And the other thing you can't let Tennessee do is Josh Heupel loves that tempo. And if he gets that tempo rolling, they will wear you out.
It's a track meet, man.
Yes.
It's tiring.
And they will wear you out. And you don't want to get to the fourth quarter and you've been trying to chase them all day and you are worn out. And so, I mean, it's two really good coaches who both know each other well. You know, Clark Lee hasn't beaten Josh Heupel to this point, hasn't had the team to do it to this point. And we'll see if they can do it in this one. You know, I hate to say it's as simple who takes the lead early wins, but whoever takes the lead early and can dictate the rest of the game is certainly going to have an advantage. I think both quarterbacks are going to throw for 300 yards.
I can see that.
I certainly do. And it's going to be a long night. This could be a 4-hour game.
Yeah, should be a lot of fun. Well, Josh Heupel talked about facing off against Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt.
Got an opportunity to come back home, finish regular season out here in front of our fans, honoring a bunch of seniors that have been a huge part of what we've done for some of them over the last 5 years, and a great group that love being around. So we'll have a chance to honor them, opportunity to play a really good football team, and get ready to go play.
Josh, Diego Pavia was pretty effective last year, but he seems to have hit another level this year. What have you seen in his growth or his development over the past year?
Yeah, just another year of development, command of what they're doing offensively. Certainly has the ability to use his feet and make plays. He's thrown it extremely well. He's continued to get better throughout the course of the season, and being efficient with the football, and has created a bunch of big plays, but his ability to be a part of the run game as well is a huge part of what they do offensively.
When you look at Vanderbilt defensively, are they different than they were a year ago when you look at them? When you've watched them on tape, what stands out about their defense?
Yeah, I mean, they're playing extremely hard, physical in their front seven. Defensively, a lot of different structures. The last 2 years that we've played them, structure-wise, it's been dramatically different, when we got to kick off. And so we have to prepare for the structures that we've seen in the past, and also what they've done this year.
Okay, Cory.
Yeah.
We've talked about the game. How do you see it playing out?
I think it's a shootout. I mean, this is one, and I know everybody likes to, when you win the toss, to defer to the second half.
You take the ball.
Give me the ball. I want to get the lead. I want to get the lead. And, all the pressure's on Vanderbilt.
Yes.
And I've never been able to say that before. And, they've got a lot of pressure on them. But I think they've got the guy to handle it.
They've got it.
Yeah.
That it factor.
And, I'm not going to be surprised how this one ends either way. But I think Vanderbilt ultimately wins the game 35-31.
I'm going to go 38-34, Vandy.
Yeah.
I think it is going to be high scoring.
Yeah.
I think if it comes down to it, like I said, and you had a guy with the ball in their hand at the end of the game, and it's Diego Pavia who has the ball, I'm banking on him to score points.
Yeah. So we both like Pavia over Aguilar. No disrespect to Aguilar.
Yes.
At all. But if the game is online, the other thing I like for Vanderbilt with the game on the line is I like the Vandy kicking game just a little bit more than I like the Tennessee kicking game. Brock Taylor, like if they need a 51-yarder to win it, I feel good about Brock Taylor making that kick. And I can't say that the other way around. And so I think, and the other thing is Clark Lee, Jerry Kill, okay, this team doesn't beat itself. All right. They don't commit a lot of penalties. They don't make a lot of mistakes. And, you know, when you get in that type of environment, can you continue to do that? Because that's how they lost to Alabama, was they made mistakes in the red zone. And so if they can avoid that, and I think they can, I'll take Vanderbilt. But again, this game's kind of a toss-up.
2:30 on Saturday. Let's do a rundown real quickly of all the games that we got of this college football weekend.
Well, there's a lot of these games that affect Vanderbilt considerably if Vanderbilt wins.
Utah and the Jayhawks. You need the Jayhawks to win, but I think the Utes are probably going to take that one.
But I think if you're Vanderbilt and you win, you still jump Utah in the standings.
And we talked about Miami Pitt earlier. I like Miami.
Yeah, I like Miami as well.
And I think they're probably going to be the ACC representative in the playoff, most likely. All right, going on to UCF and BYU.
Well, that would be a massive upset, but it would be another one that would help Vanderbilt.
Yes, indeed it will, but I still think BYU gets it done.
Yes.
Iron Bowl. I like Bama.
I like Bama too. But,
close, though.
But I think it could be very well close. Are you hearing anything about Kalen DeBoer to Penn State?
I haven't heard Penn State. I've heard potentially him wanting to be back at the West Coast.
Going to Southern Cal?
Yeah, like if Lincoln Riley were to for some reason dip out and he'd go to Southern Cal.
I guess what I've heard is that Penn State wants Kalen DeBoer. And does Kalen DeBoer want to stay in that fishbowl? That's a real question.
That would certainly shake up the college football coaching carousel. Indeed. All right, next up, A&M and the Longhorns. Marcel Reed, I think this just solidifies his top 4 spot in the Heisman
you like
finalists.
A&M?
Yeah, I like A&M.
I like A&M too, but Arch got, what do you have, 6 touchdowns last week?
Yeah.
But, you know, look, this is a personal game for the people at Texas A&M. They feel like they've been treated as the little brother for a long time. It's why they left the conference to go to the SEC, was to get away from Texas. So the chance to go to Austin and win is huge for them.
This next one has huge implications for Vanderbilt as well, because if Michigan were to win,
they probably would jump them.
And
I don't think they're better than them, but they would probably jump them. I think Ohio State wins the game.
Same. And this one as well, you need LSU to win and give the Sooners a 3rd loss. I like LSU in this one. Just give it to me for the plot.
You know what? I didn't know LSU was 7-4. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I thought they were like 5-6.
It's felt that way with Brian Kelly getting canned.
But again, the pressure's on Oklahoma. You have to win to go to the playoffs. This is a game you should win. Now, you could say that was the case last week, but they struggled with Missouri last week. I mean, they struggled. So I won't be surprised if they struggle, but I think Oklahoma will win.
There you have it. That is the picks from us here this college football weekend. Make sure to tune in to News 2 on Friday and Saturday. I'm Julian Mininsohn. That's Cory Curtis. We'll see you guys next week.